Hi, my name is Nguyễn Tiến Pan. I am an MBA undergraduate at the University of Greenwich in Vietnam. And today I will talk about sustainability and ethics in businesses, how they affect customer perceptions, and how Nestle deal with that controversy. But before that, I want to take a look at some literature review and theories. When we discuss about sustainability and ethics, we often refer to the idea of green incentives, such as recycling, lowering carbon footprint, or doing activities related to environmental responsibilities. But in academic definitions, they are a bit more complex. So before I move to marketing practices, I want to define the definitions by its core first. The definition of sustainability is a steady development that fits the current demands without compromising the growth of the future generations. This could mean preserving environmental resources, social stability, or economic continuity. And the definition of ethics is a set of principles that determine whether or not the actions and decisions are respectable, fair, or acceptable within some context. In corporate settings, it tells how leaders should exercise their authority or manage conflict of interest without harming the people around them. Sustainability in marketing is essentially applying those principles into marketing practices, with the combination of making profit for the business, of course. It's focused on the design, the promotion, and the delivery of the product or service that do not underutilize the environmental resources, social stability, and again, economic continuity. Ethics in marketing refer to the idea of corporate communications and how they position and deliver the product or service in a way without misinformation, exploitation, or manipulations of the consumer. So, sustainability and ethical factors, when combined, create a condition for the customer to trust and consequently stay loyal to the brand. And it is proven that the customer tend to trust the brand with the perception of prioritizing their interests. This leads me to the corporate social responsibility, or CSR. It is loosely defined as the expectation of a business to must do more than profit, which means the business must consider the consequences before their actions while contributing positively to the society. This creates an image of responsibility and heightened perceived trustworthiness that will lead to even more customer loyalty. The goal of sustainable and ethical marketing is trust. Trust is the vital currency in relationship marketing. So when trust is established, commitment follows. And commitment is somewhat similar to the psychological default state, where the customer start considering alternatives and more consistently supporting the business, even regardless of backlashes. Alright, that goes back to Nestle. It's had a lot of controversies, from water to deforestation, but today I'm just only focused on the illegal usage of labor, which is Nestle usage of child labor. It is very political and very emotional, but also Nestle present an excellent case of CSR. The background is that there are 612 human rights incidents in cocoa farming regions, 27% of which is child labor. And it is recorded from 2014 to 2024, and these farms are allegedly associated with chocolate manufacturing firms, including Nestle. In response to the persistent allegations, Nestle has claimed to establish the Nestle Cocoa Plan and the monitoring system called the Child Labor and Monitoring and Remediation System, or CLMRS for short, in 2017. And as its name suggests, it aimed to bring remediation and raising awareness and monitoring interventions about the problem child labor, particularly in Ivory Coast. However, the plan did not favor the company, as in 2021, the Nestle got sued along with other chocolate firms, but thus the case later got dismissed due to lack of evidence. But back in January 2022, Nestle announced another scheme that will pay cash directly to cocoa farmers, that encourage children to stay in school and away from farms. I mean, the plan reportedly target all of 160,000 of Nestlé cocoa farming households by 2030. Yeah, so the immediate backlashes and allegations are focused on the ethical concerns. I mean, specifically the labor issues. And it is speculated to cause some immediate loss of sales, but it is very hard to prove it with publicly available data since Nestle portfolio is very wide, including from coffee to water to dairy and even pet food. There are other negative effects such as corroding trust and slower growth in some markets, but these are often went undocumented or even unquantifiable in some public reports. But the establishment of CLMRS and the incentive to pay people to keep their children in school are class example of corporate social responsibility. I mean, Nestle really invest their resources into providing them human right focused models and strategy. It is like unheard of. While Nestle's immediate response was valid at the moment of the controversies, but I think there are a few ways that Nestle could really improve their game even larger. I mean, firstly, transparency and communication. I mean, transparency is vital for any corporation that wants a better connections with their customer. And I mean, as anti-corporatism is continuously rising because of ethical failures, privacy breaches, or manipulative advertising, this makes transparency and communication extremely important, and this is getting more and more expected from firms. But I mean, this is also aimed to clear any misconceptions or any misinformation that could really damage the business reputation. There's other several ways that Nestle could follow that I only can dig up from internet forums like Reddit, such as fully traceable ingredients or open audit results or just less jargonized public reports. And if Nestle could do any of that, it would be wunderbar. So, another way that Nestle could potentially use to improve public relation with their customer is working along with journalism firms or filmmakers to produce some sort of self-documentaries. I mean, this is just me thinking, it's hypothetical. I don't have a good source. I found studies about how creative media are used to paint corporates in the dark lights, like how Walmart store got boycotted after the release of the movie, Walmart, the high cost of price in 2005. So my assumption was, if corporate could be defamed from film and movies, could it be inverse the effect using the same media to boost propaganda? So it's just a hypothesis. So in summary, the efforts towards sustainability and ethics compliance are always viewed in the positive impressions. As the discussion around transparency and environmentalism is continuously growing, the matter of applying sustainable and medical practice is becoming less voluntary and more of an obligation, maybe mandatory. So this is the end of my video. I really thank you for your attention, and I hope you have a wonderful day and Merry Christmas. Thank you.